Hey everyone, just want to show you a quick tutorial on how to put together my little mini books. You'll see here I've printed on the back of the cover page so that there's an extra nice little finished touch to the inside of those covers. And so we'll just start out by cutting one of the cute little covers. And I just love mini books. They are just so darling. I always loved little things when I was younger, and I still love little miniature things. Just never outgrew it, I guess, and that's okay. All right. So there is a cute little cover with a finished inside. We'll set that aside for now, and then we'll go ahead and cut the corresponding pages for that book in particular. And you'll see here I've got it labeled first, second, and third, and those are the 3 rows that you'll need to cut out to make this one book. The lower half is for the notebook, and that has its own separate cover. But that would be just another separate book, but we're just going to do this one for now. Okay. Get all 3 cut out. And we'll get all of our leftovers set aside for a second. And then you'll see there the first, second, and third rows like you had on the page. So what we want to do is rearrange it lengthwise, first, second, and third. And let me get a scrap piece of paper to glue on, because I don't like to get glue on my table if I can help it. So just go ahead and get my trusty glue stick. I always like to use the kind that shows up purple at first. I like to see where my glue is gone. Sometimes it's hard to see. So we'll get that all the way to the edges so that you have a nice firm hold. And just line that edge up right to the line there. Make sure your edges are lined up as well. If you have anything overhanging, now would be a good time to trim that off a little bit, just so everything is nice and flush. And just really take your time with it. If things aren't lined up correctly at this point, then it's going to kind of make the finished product a little bit wonky. It'll give you you'll have a harder time getting things matched up at that later point. So might as well just take your time and get it done right from the get-go. So align that right up to that little line again. And get everything pressed down really well so it's a good strong hold on there. All right. Now, what we want to do is start folding. I'm going to start by folding that first little flap up and inward. And that's going to be what holds your little signature to the cover. So it's kind of like a little inside cover page. So it's going to go up and over, and then you're just going to continue folding it and use those little lines as your guide to make that little accordion thing. So you just fold every other way to make the accordion. We'll speed this process up too, because you want to take your time with this for sure. This is where things can get a little bit wonky if you rush it. But I don't want to make you watch me do that. So we'll speed that up. Get everything folded up nice and neat. Get that back page for the cover folded up and in, and then get those edges pressed down really well. And then there's your cute little accordion. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and ink the edges of the strip. just to kind of give it a finished look again. I love inking. I don't know if you've noticed that yet. I love to ink everything, all the edges. It gives everything a nice little vintage look to it. And what I will probably do when the book is finished is ink the edges of the pages once they've been glued together, and ink those the outer edges of the book. But for now, I'm just going to ink the outside of the strip. Do that all the way around. And there you have it. Okay. And of course, we have to ink the edges of the cover. So it already has a very antiqued look to it, but inking those edges will make it look even more finished. I'm going to go ahead and ink the other side too, just so there's a little bit extra hanging over there on the inside. If any part of that ends up showing, then it'll look finished. All right, so now it is time to glue the pages together so that it forms a little signature. So we don't want to do anything with that very first flap yet. We want to get those two glued together so that you have your first page. And so it will form a little signature there. So go ahead and put the glue on not the first square, but that second one. All the way to the edges, and then get those two stuck together. And basically what I do is I'm going to be gluing every other square. Just kind of, again, make sure everything is lined up. Things kind of tend to move a little bit, so just line everything up as you're gluing it. Like I said, every other square really does the trick. And before you know it, you've got a cute little signature for your itty bitty cute adorable tiny book. And again, you want to leave those very outer edges not glued for now, because those will go on the inside of your cover. And there's your cute little signature. Okay, so now it's time to fold the cover. And you can just do it, just with your fingers and just kind of by sight and feel. But I'm going to score it just a little bit so that the fold is maybe a little bit more sharp and a little bit more clean. So I'm just taking my folding bone and a ruler and just kind of pressing down so that when I fold it, it gives a little bit easier. It'll be a little bit of a cleaner fold. So it creates a cute little cover. And again, at this point too, make sure everything is lined up. You don't want your cover to be wonky. So just make sure it's all cute. All right, make sure it's all lined up. Everything's lined up nice. And then I'm going to straighten it back out for a second so I can glue the signature in. Take the glue stick, get that really good, and get the glue on there really well, because this is what's going to hold everything together. So you want it to be good, and a good strong hold. And beware, you will get glue all over your fingers. But you want to line it up against the edge of the cover, but you also want to make sure that the signature is going to be nice and square and centered into that spine. So you just kind of simultaneously line up the spine and then also line up that first little cover page. And then do it the same thing for the back. Get lots of good glue on there without getting it all over your hands. That's the challenge. Kind of work with it a little bit, make sure everything is good and tight and lined up. And squeeze those folds a little bit more. And there you go. I'm going to, like I said, ink those edges where my thumbs are. I'm going to ink those later. But that gives you an idea of how that's going to look. So there you go, guys. There is a cute little mini book for you to add to your mini book collection. Have fun.